Thanks for listening to Uncle Sam's Soccer Podcast, keeping you up to date with the latest in American soccer. And don't forget to subscribe.
Hello everyone, welcome to Uncle Sam's Soccer Podcast. My name's Steve Jotter, and joining me as always is Arman and Jake Ortroba. And on today's episode, we continue going forward and discussing MLS playoffs. Now listeners, if you haven't done so, hit that subscribe button, leave us a 5-star review, and follow us at Uncle Sam's Soccer Pod. We enjoyed all the contributions last week to our 2 live shows. We're going to do another one this Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central. We'll be on for an hour. We'll be live. We'll be taking your questions, anything, honestly, related to the world of soccer. And then anything else you want to ask us, why not? Send it our way. Now, Jake, Arman, how we doing? Crazy fun MLS action. I have to say, this has been the best playoffs in MLS history so far.
Let's get controversial right away. What did you guys make of media members like, I think it was Pablo Moraur, who essentially said El Tráfico playoff edition was really just a crappy game filled with bad defending, and it wasn't the spectacle that everybody made it out to be?
I kind of agree.
I kind of agree too.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Can you pull up the tweet from Pablo? I wanted to know exactly what he says. As you look for that tweet, Jake, I think the game itself, yeah, it had, 8 goals? You had big names, you had controversy, but I don't know, the atmosphere wasn't like the other El Tráficos. You just didn't see that high-class intensity. It just seemed... It seemed like the regular season game. I don't know, maybe I'm nuts, and maybe we overhyped it, so we put such a high bar on it, it just didn't meet those expectations.
Oh, man, the Galaxy are bad. And I think that's what kind of played a role in it, too. Their defending was pretty bad. And even the Galaxy's second goal, Tyler Miller probably should have had that. I mean, looking at it, there were some goals that had some moments of brilliance, but overall, it was a relatively, I think, sloppy game relative to, I think, what we were all expecting. But I don't know if we even should have expected as much as you're saying, Steven, because the Galaxy haven't been that good, and LAFC's record against the Galaxy isn't that great either. And I kind of agree with it. It wasn't the best showcase of soccer, to say at least.
Guys, I have the tweet right here. I was able to find it on Pablo's Twitter feed. He is quoted as saying, "This game will be framed as a, quote, thriller, when in reality it was full of truly dreadful defending, goalkeeping, and officiating at times. Sorry, yes, I hate fun. Hashtag MLS." Yeah,
I mean, I kind of agree. It was rather flat. The game felt flat. I don't know. I really thought the intensity just didn't match what you got in the regular season. Call me nuts at Unc Sam Soccer Pod at Steven Jodderand, but that's genuinely how I felt. The goals going in was nice.
Do you feel that way? Do you feel that way because Zlatan didn't score 3 goals in a matter of 5 minutes, and he has in previous performances or previous installments of this fixture?
No, I just think, I don't know, maybe I was holding out hope that the outcome was going to be in doubt, but deep down we all knew LAFC were the better team going into the match. They're at home. The Galaxy can't defend to save their lives. They're awful, one of the worst teams defensively I've seen in the playoffs. Anytime LAFC threatened, you thought, oh boy, this is going to be a shot on goal. After the opening 15 minutes, you just thought the defense had collapsed and LAFC were having their way. And the fans sensed it. And the players knew it. So I don't know, the intensity was just not there. I just remember watching the El Tráficos of over the summer being way more intense.
Jake, what do you think? I know you brought it up. I mean, what do you think?
I just feel like Pablo's tweet more so is highlighting He's trying to highlight what's wrong with this match, when in reality, I think it's more so just highlighting what's wrong with the league in general, and that we shouldn't be surprised that there's really poor defending and there's really poor goalkeeping and officiating at times in the league's marquee fixture, because I think it's a microcosm of what we see across the league as a whole. Now, Arman, you cover the league. You tell me if I'm, saying anything that's untrue or if I'm exaggerating anything there. Like, defending in this league is not good.
You're right.
Goalkeeping in this league, not really that good.
You're right.
And how many times have we heard that officiating is piss poor in this league?
All the time.
So why are we sitting here going, wow, yeah, it's kind of surprising that LAFC-LA Galaxy wasn't really this thriller. It was just filled with bad defending and goalkeeping, and officiating sucked.
I think it hits back to what Steven was saying. Is I think we overhyped it and expected a lot more beautiful football, when I think we should have expected more of just a spectacle. Like more of just the entertainment value rather than brilliant football being played. Like the ending of the match, I think we're gonna talk about that later. That was brilliant entertainment. That was fun. But looking at the actual match itself, I think as a whole in the media kind of hyped it up to be this like, oh, it's gonna be brilliant, this, that. When in reality, the Galaxy are just bad. And like I hate to harp on it, but they're bad defensively, and it showed. And LAFC, sometimes they're kind of weak on defense, especially with Zimmerman, not starting the game and having Blackman, Eddie Segura. I think, Jake, you're all right, but I think it's also our fault too, because I think we expected a little too much from this match.
Just to continue Arman's thought here, just remember the Galaxy allowed 59 goals in the regular season. That was most in the Western Conference as far as playoff teams. They had a -1 goal differential. The only team in the playoffs that had a negative goal differential. This team is terrible at the back. And it's no surprise that they allowed 5 goals. Now, let's transition here, guys. And yeah, LAFC dominated. We're not going to do too much previewing on the show because we find previews quite boring. But there was controversy regarding an VAR check early on in the game when LAFC made it 2-0, scored by Carlos Vela. And the question was whether or not the play leading up to Carlos Vela's goal was offsides or not. And Ibra harped on it post-match. I want to get our thoughts on this here, but here's Ibra.
The second goal by them was clearly offside. How does that...
Was it?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you 100% sure?
Yes.
And you think we didn't know that?
No, I think you knew that.
But the referee didn't know that.
The VAR didn't get involved in it. But
what was he doing upstairs?
It's a good question.
Drinking coffee with Magic Johnson?
Good question.
Exactly.
But how does that impact just how the game goes on from there? Because that certainly plays a role in this.
It's difficult. Because if you have the VAR, it means that the game is extra controlled by not a fourth by fifth referee upstairs. But yeah, if he's drinking coffee with Magic Johnson, then it's difficult to play the game because he has to be in control. He didn't even go out and check. And he said that he needed a signal from the VAR people to go out and check. Mm-hmm. So what is the VAR people doing? But yeah, I don't want to complain about that, guys. We just lost. And, I don't want to be a loser complaining about the ref because it's not my level.
But are those things frustrating?
Don't you hate when a player goes, yeah, the referees sucked, but I'm not going to blame the referees, although they sucked. But yeah, I it's just not my type of thing to blame the referees, but they sucked. Yeah, look, we're above that. There are other plays out there to be made, but the referees suck. Don't you hate when players do that in post games? Managers, coaches, they do it all the time. It's so annoying. Either just say the referees sucked, or just don't comment at all.
He sounded so salty, like incredibly salty. Having coffee with Magic Johnson, like that's a really interesting way to talk about it. But guys, what'd you think of the actual call itself? I think Jake, you mentioned it in the chat that there might be some sort of angle distortion because of it wasn't exactly on the line, so you might think it's off, but it's not, and it was really close. I still feel like they could have gotten it, because the Premier League has that technology to where they show you how far off he was. I don't know why MLS doesn't have that yet or anything, but it was a weird, I guess, situation.
don't know if it's called like paradox angle or what the actual phrasing is called. But there was a tweet I found by @offsidemodeling where I don't know if it's some mathematical thing they did or they're grabbing pixels or what. I'm not an expert on this, so don't, if you know what I'm talking about, tweet at us at UncSamSoccerPod. But essentially, @offsidemodeling said that Vela looked to be offside by 1.5 inches. And to me, if we're having to look at an image and see, we're going to look at an image and basically show that, well, he was 2 pixels behind the last defender for the Galaxy. If that's what this is coming down to, then I'm fine with it not being called offside. Like that is so
no. Look, VAR should, if we're gonna sit here and say VAR checks every goal, then have the technology, just like in the Premier League, if somebody is a hair offside, call it as offside. Don't go back and forth saying clear and obvious, blah 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 blah. Make the rules consistent. Either we're gonna have technology interfere with the game, then get it 100 out of 100 times correct. Don't give me this clear and obvious BS, because it's frustrating because you just don't know the rules. You just don't know what's clear and obvious because every referee calls it different. Every game, clear and obvious does not mean one objective definition. It is all relative to the match or subjective to the referee, and that is infuriating. Because then you just don't know. You just don't know what's going to happen.
So I agree with Steven right here. Because offside, it's either you're offside or you're not. There's not like a
100%.
like a weird gray area, and there should be either offside or you're not. Now, I mean, sure, VAR, if they take away a goal for a guy being off by 1 inch, maybe that's to apply to maybe like a law change to where maybe they give like a margin of error of some sort or something like that. I don't know. Again, MLS is behind. Again, I don't know how many times I have to mention this, but when you look at how the Premier League does VAR, sure, it has its problems, but at least the presentation, at least you know what's going on. The Bundesliga does it really well, where you see what's going on as well. I mean, overall, you got to have the technology, and the fact that they don't, and MLS has had VAR the longest, yikes, man, that's not a good look. I guess he was marginally offside, but I wasn't gonna take it from that picture because I know that picture it wasn't straight down the line.
Yeah, it was at an angle. It was at an angle. It confuses the viewer because it's not a straight line, as you mentioned. Now, before we get to what was said after the game, because that was what everybody really picked up on, was Ibra's comments about MLS post Ibra, and then Bob Bradley's interaction with Sebastian Salazar just minutes after the game. We'll get to that here in a moment, but lastly, I have to say, it's pretty funny that Ibra says, oh, what was the referee doing? Having tea or coffee with Magic Johnson? Don't you love how he just throws these little jabs at everybody anytime he opens his mouth?
Yeah, and he's the one who's going to be watching MLS Cup playoffs from his couch.
He's not
from
watching.
here on out. I know he's not watching, but whatever. For somebody who talks so much like Zlatan, I don't think he carries as much cachet as he thinks he does.
Oh, no, he does.
No, I don't think
Okay, well, let's get to these comments. Here he is post-game.
Zlatan, if this is it, what have you thought about your time here?
I was the best. Easy. So imagine if I don't play in MLS, who will you talk about then?
Right. So apparently reports have it that, talks are sort of cooling off in the culture.
You know I'm very expensive.
Absolutely. And the Galaxy's got plenty of money. So can we expect
Does MLS have money?
Yes. So give the money to Zlatan. Can we expect to see you here next year if the money is...
No, it's not about money. I was joking. What happens next year, I don't know. I mean, if I stay or not, I think for MLS is good because the whole world will watch it. If I don't stay, nobody will remember what MLS is.
I feel like Zlatan thinks that he is MLS, and that's the only reason why anybody watches. And actually, I don't think it is. I know it is based off those comments now that he thinks that this league cannot survive without him, and I think that is incredibly false. There's going to be somebody else that's going to come along that LA Galaxy is going to bring in, or LAFC, or Atlanta, or Inter Miami, or whoever that's going to be better than Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I mean, for F's sakes, we were talking about Messi coming to MLS 6 weeks ago. I'm just so sick and tired of these comments from Zlatan. That
Oh
it's
my
just,
God!
poor
Cry
little
me
MLS.
a river, you little MLS fanboy.
I'm not even an MLS fanboy. It's just annoying. It's just annoying. Zlatan, what have you won? What has Zlatan won? What has Zlatan won?
Cry on. He's one of 3 players currently in the game at the moment, currently playing, to have scored 500 goals.
Okay.
Cry on.
What else?
Just cry. Cry me a river with this nonsense with these comments. Because frankly, everybody knows Ibrahimovic is an arrogant word that I can't say on the show. Everybody knows that. And moreover, it's annoying that people like you, Jake, that are criticizing him, because guess what? Guess what this does? It brings ears to the games. People talk about what Ibrahimovic says and does. And I know this because the Swiss news reports on it. You really think Ibra leaves, anybody's going to cover MLS? There's a grain of truth to what Ibrahimovic is saying here. Okay? You have a bombastic character in Major League Soccer. You remove him, let me ask you, Jake, what sound post-games throughout the season are we playing on this show? Because there is not a single player that opens his mouth and there's anything interesting that comes out of his mouth.
I mean, you're right, but it's also...
Arman, did you hear that? I'm right.
Wow, this is a little spicy. I'm
just sick of.
I agree with Jake though.
This league sucks. I agree.
This league sucks.
Look at me. This league sucks.
Because listen, when Beckham was here, right?
Who's a better player than Zlatan ever was?
I'm sure.
No, you. I don't know what you. No, Jake. What are you? Stop. Ibrahimovic is a better player than David Beckham was.
I don't buy that one, Chief. But
all right, at Sam Soccer Pod, we'll hear it from some listeners.
What Beckham has done is, look, he actually tried to grow your game. He didn't crap on the league wherever any chance he got, and you know what? He's now investing in a team, and he's again trying to grow the team, grow the league, and help the league grow, and help the game grow in America. Meanwhile,
wait. Okay, David Beckham came with a mission to grow the game, whatever. He was an ambassador of the sport, right, in America. Fine. Ibrahimovic came here to turn the league into Major League Ibrahimovic, right? That's basically it was his mission. But let's look at this objectively. Did Ibrahimovic help grow Major League Soccer?
Not to the same effect that David Beckham did.
Okay, that's not the question we're having here. Did he help grow Major League Soccer?
I honestly don't know.
I honestly don't know either.
I honestly don't know.
Do you think El Trafico would have the same buzz if Ibrahimovic was not part of the LA Galaxy?
Define buzz in this situation. Are you asking, would it be shoved in our throats like it is right now?
What do you mean shoved in our throats?
Because it would, no matter if he's there or not, this would have been the premier game every time these two.
Sure, it would have been.
Just like Red Bulls and NYCFC.
No, not to the same extent. Because when you have the New York Derby, it's like, okay, cool, red versus blue. Jake, you're the one that craps all over it. Be the same thing with the LA Derby.
It sucks.
You would think the Derby would suck. Why? Because you don't have any personality. Why does the New York Derby suck? There is no personality whatsoever. There just isn't. So, yeah, listeners, come at me, at Uncle Sam Soccer Pod, at Steven Jodern. I think Ibrahimovic actually did more good for Major League Soccer, because what harm could Major League Soccer get from Ibrahimovic by crapping all over the league? Young players still want to come here. Messi still is considering coming here. Every player in Europe has mentioned Major League Soccer. Lukaku, Antoine Griezmann. Where do they play? Inter Milan.
But is that
Barcelona.
because of Ibra?
No, it's not because of Ibra. But quit saying that Ibrahimovic has done damage to the league. And here's a clip of ESPN FC Brian McBride.
I have a problem with that.
I saw you on digital earlier today, Brian, and you don't normally get angry.
Yeah, I think it's demeaning. And it takes away from what this league has done in 23 years, the people that have been a part of this league. And really, to me, it stands out as a way of making people who don't necessarily understand soccer in this country or who aren't fans of soccer in this country think poorly of MLS. And the fans who actually know soccer outside of MLS think even less of it. And when the league has come so far, there's been great players that have played in this league. The league continues to grow. It continues to flourish. You have 3 new franchises coming in, Miami, St. Louis, Sacramento.
Don't you think you've been a bit paranoid, Brian?
I'm not being paranoid. That sound bit went everywhere.
This is Zlatan.
Stevie, that sound bit went everywhere.
So what?
What do you mean?
Well, so what? This is Zlatan. Zlatan's talking about Zlatan constantly. Zlatan's only interested in Zlatan. And Zlatan's basically saying that nobody will watch MLS because Zlatan won't be there. Well, do you think anybody's saying, oh, Zlatan's saying MLS?
Guys, nobody watches Major League Soccer anyways. So, does it make a difference if Ibrahimovic craps on it? Yeah, it might be annoying for us 3 to hear it constantly, but at least we have something to talk about. Again, what player in the league opens his mouth and says anything interesting? Before this was what? Michael Bradley's Lions and Sheeps? Was that even regarding his time in Major League Soccer, or was that with the U.S. men's national team? I don't even remember.
It was the national team.
Oh, well, point being, I don't know anything else controversial said by a Major League Soccer player that is worth discussing. You pop on ESPN, you pop on Fox Sports, you got player sound bites from all the major leagues. There's no one apart from Ibrahimovic that says anything interesting regarding the league. And in fact, there's no such thing as bad press. That's why.
Yeah, when the quality of your product isn't that good, there is such thing as bad press.
Nobody's watching to begin with.
And I can tell you if your quote unquote the most marketable player in your league is saying this league sucks, why would you why this league is nothing if I'm not in it?
Then why is he here? If this league sucks so badly, why is he here? For the paycheck?
Well, yeah, that's why he's here. He wants to live the American lifestyle. That's what it is.
Okay. So Zlatan Ibrahimovic came here slowly to grow his brand and to collect a paycheck.
Probably, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't understand how a player dumping on the league that's already low in quality is good PR for the league when it's already.
None of the players care. Nobody cares. Everybody knows Major League Soccer is not the Premier League, the Bundesliga, or Serie A.
Yes, but why does Zlatan saying this league sucks makes the Euro snob or whoever we're using in this scenario here? Why does it make that fan who only watches the Premier League go, hey, you know what? Zlatan said the league sucks. I think I'm going to tune in now.
Because Zlatan did this when he went to PSG right after he left Barcelona. This is Zlatan. This is his character. If you're a Euro snob, you'll know this is how Zlatan is. He's been saying ridiculous things since he was at Malmo. It's just who he is. This is his personality.
I guess we'll have to agree to disagree here, Stephen, because we can argue this.
Yeah,
we can. All right, but
let's argue about Bob Bradley's comments.
Yes, let's ask our resident reporter what he thought of this interaction with Sebastian Salazar and Bob Bradley right after the LAFC-LA Galaxy game.
People have asked questions about Carlos Vela in big games. What can you say about his performance this evening?
Who asked those questions?
Over the course of his career, those questions have been asked.
Have they been asked this year?
How many big games have you had this year?
That question.
I think it's a fair question. His performance tonight.
For this season, get lost. Get lost.
Thank you, Bob.
A spiky
Guys,
performance.
Back up to you.
Yes, a spiky performance from Bob Bradley and a backward stare as well. And now he goes to celebrate with his players. So, safe to say that one or two of those.
Guys, pulling a tweet from Sebastian Salazar later that night, he pulls a Bob Bradley comment to kind of I guess take a, I don't know if it's a jab or to kind of check Bob Bradley here. So
set the record straight.
Set the record straight. Thank you. So Salazar tweets, "Who asked those questions?" Bob Bradley last night, and Salazar goes on quoting Bob Bradley as saying, "Carlos can still be better. In the biggest games, when you're that kind of attacking player, you've got to find a way." And that's from Bob Bradley earlier in the year, asking more of Vela in, quote, the biggest games. So, guys, first of all, what do you make of Salazar keeping the quote-unquote receipts here, hashtag receipts? And two, what do you make of Bradley's comments?
Bob Bradley is an a-hole. Comes across as a big a-hole there in that moment. Maybe it's the emotions of it. I don't know. Arman, you're the ones in the locker room. What do you make of this exchange? What would you do in this situation? Because Sebastian kept his calm, kept his cool, and just said...
Well, I can tell you what. First of all, Arman would keep the mood light and talk about Lucci's cardigan first and foremost. Kind of, fluff him up a little bit, like, oh, drip Lucci over here. Okay, all right. Hey, what do you think about Paxton Pomykal? You bench him a lot. What's going on with that? Hey, you look great in that shirt.
No, so first off, with keeping the receipts, that's what you're supposed to as a journalist. You always keep the receipts, so because players and sometimes coaches like to pull crap like this all the time, and you're like, bro, you literally said this like 2 weeks ago, or like you agreed to this or something. So you always keep the receipts in case they want to pull crap like this and pretend like that didn't happen. And you're like, okay, cool, whatever. As in regards to the actual comment itself, you know what? Bradley might have looked bad, but in front of his team, he looks great. This is a great boost, say, hey, look, I'm standing up for my guy. I have his back no matter what. And Vela, might look at that from his coach and be like, wow, that's awesome. Like, he really had my back. It might, give him maybe even a little bit more edge than he already has. And if I was Sebastian in that situation, I think he handled it brilliantly. I would have handled it a little bit worse, I think, to be honest with you.
I guess he comes across good with the team, but come on. I mean, he looks like a complete jerk.
Well, I mean, he looks like a jerk, but here's the thing. In sports right now, it's, a lot of people are some people hate on journalists. And if you can go through some of those tweets and say, it's a stupid question or whatever. But the context of it is Salazar essentially is giving him an opportunity to boost Vela. Literally an opportunity to boost Vela.
Yeah, but you don't need to come across as an a-hole. You could simply say, look, Carlos Vela is a big-time player. He showed it all throughout the season. But he sits there and he mocks Salazar for the question. He basically says, Salazar, you don't know what you're talking about. You're a moron. That's what Bob Bradley said there. He didn't say much about Carlos Vela. He really didn't. And I know you're taking the positive spin. I'm looking at the negative spin. Bob Bradley comes off as a massive a-hole in this thing, and it's just sure he defends Carlos Vela, but there's a million different ways of saying this.
No, I agree. I personally agree, but I think Salazar really handled himself well, and also Bob Bradley. I mean, like, come on, man. Like, there's so many ways to answer this, but come on, man.
I get what Bradley's doing there. He's kind of doing that us against the world mentality type of thing.
Oh my God!
Time out.
No.
You know who else is doing that? Brian Schmetzer of the Sounders is doing that.
Yep. 3 and 4 years in the conference finals. Yeah.
Number 2 seed in the West, expected to beat both teams. People doubted us
at home, where they haven't lost at home in the playoffs since 2013. Just saying that, Brian Schmetzer.
You know who else tried that? Adrian Heath, and we all know how that ended up for him.
All right, listeners, we have a listener-submitted question of the day from our guy, Harry, at Ramincole. Sorry, if I butchered that there, Harry. He asks, okay, Uncle Sam Soccer Pod, I like single elimination, but the schedule of the playoffs, weekday games for the playoffs, Arman, Steven, what do you guys make of these weekday playoff games? We're going to have the conference finals.
They're fine.
Tuesday and Wednesday night. What do you guys make of these?
It's better than going up against freaking football on the weekends.
Okay, but do you like the 9 o'clock, 9:30, 9:45 start?
Well,
on
the thing is, this is not the Premier League where when you look on your ESPN app or you Google Liverpool-Tottenham and it says 11:30, the game doesn't kick off at 9 o'clock or 7 o'clock. It starts at 7:22 or 7:13 or 9:36. You just don't have you just don't know. So how about we say 7 o'clock? The kick literally is at 7 o'clock. It is magnificent to know that in Europe, when they say kickoff, it literally means the ball is being rolled at that moment in time. It's fantastic. MLS could really improve on it's timing. I know it's down to the TV networks and blah, 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 but it's a pain in the ass when you don't know when the kick is.
I'm cool with the playoffs being on weekdays, to be honest with you.
Isn't it better?
I mean, it's better for ratings, I think, personally. And also, that's what other leagues do as well. Like in U.S. sports, NBA, NHL, MLB, they have their playoff games on the weekdays, and I enjoy it. And you know what? 9 p.m. kicks. Oh, that maybe they could adjust that next year, but I mean, it's more for the West Coast. And I mean, from what we saw from the LAFC-LA Galaxy El Tráfico numbers, they're brilliant for a game that kicked off at 9:45 East Coast time.
Yeah, guys, I don't know. I'm kind of neutral on the whole thing. I understand that it's probably better for ratings if it's on the weekdays because you're not going up against college football or the NFL, but I don't really care for the 9:45 start of El Tráfico earlier this week, so not for me. So listeners, let us know what you think. What do you think of weekday playoff matches at Unc Sam Soccer Pod? You can follow Steven Jodran at Steven Jodran. You can follow Arman Kafai at Arman Kafai. And you can follow myself at Jake Watroba. Also be on the lookout. We might have a live show later this week. Maybe after Wednesday's game.
We are going to have a live show.
There it is. On-air production meeting. We will have a live show.
I thought we talked about this at the beginning of the show.
We did, but now it's confirmed. It's set
it
in
was
stone.
confirmed at the first minute. I said we're having a live show, 9 p.m. Central Time, Wednesday.
It's really set in stone now. It's really cemented there. So we are going to have a live show. Follow us on Twitter at UncSamSoccerPod so you can get that notification of when the live show is happening. For Steven and Arman, I'm Jake. We'll talk to you guys next time.